So say you had to take the wheel off for whatever reason, putting it in your car for packing. This guy has a flip release. Got to start learning how to balance the bike working by yourself. Flip that open, and then I'm going to use two hands here to undo this here. So if you have the flexibility or the bike is short enough, you can bend over this way, get hands on both sides and hold one side and unscrew the other. Or if you can do something like this, I'm just balancing the handlebar on my hip right here and kind of doing the same thing. Get to brace it with my arm here, and then I can use one hand, unscrew this enough. Not 100%, we don't want it to completely come apart because then you have the little springs. But, so now we're still stuck. So either we have to unscrew this a little more, but also my brakes here are still together, so we got to disconnect the quick release. Using two fingers here, squeezing, use my index finger, put that knob down, and then I can also manipulate the noodle here with my left hand. So I need to be standing on the same side as the noodle, which is this guy. Makes things a lot easier. Now we can see if the wheel will come loose. There we go. So wheel's now loose, or off the bike, and then we're gonna remount. Same deal here. I'm holding it by the stem. You can hold it by the handlebar. I think that's best because then you can kind of turn your handlebar and put it where you need it. And we're just going to drop that back in. Basically get the tire past your side brakes and then get it onto your dropouts here. Boom. And once you do that, same thing, either bend over this way and you start tightening, which I can reach for now. And then we're also trying to make sure the bike is staying straight up and down like this. If we start leaning, then the wheel will start to lean and get crooked. So we're keeping it straight. Also don't want to influence the wheel. We don't want to be doing something like this where I'm pinching the wheel. As soon as you pinch the wheel, the weight of the bike's going to take over. It's going to go this way, and then the wheel goes that way. So now we're going to have a crooked wheel. So let the wheel do what it wants. You might end up running something like this. Just pick that up on accident. So I need to situate myself. For me, I like to be over on the right side of the bike. So I'm going to get your body in the right place. And then if you have a disc brake, disc is going on the left side. If you have the quick release lever, typically it goes on the left side. That's just common. Sometimes you might see it on the right. Either side will work. For the front, if it's the rear, lever goes on the left side to stay away from the rear derailleur. So a little bit of manipulation here, we get that in. If you're not getting it in, make sure the skewer is loose enough. Make sure the lever's in the open, flopped in the open position. And again, you can come over, hold one side and tighten the other. I'm going on my tippy toes, so I'm not trying to lean the bike or influence the wheel. That's one method, or you can start practicing and balance here on your hip. Come over, this forearm's going to brace the side of the fork, and then I have my hand free to grab this side, and then I can make my adjustment. So it's quarter or half turn for adjustment, flip. You want to get good pressure, and I keep turning, boom. If that feels good, you don't want this so tight where you're struggling to close it, because it's going to be twice as hard to open. So if it's tight, back it off a quarter turn, give it a squeeze, use that palm, try and get that closed 100%. You want to feel some pressure, maybe a little imprint in your palm. Once you got that, I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the brakes over here. So at this point, handlebar is going almost to my armpit. These are things I don't even notice I do, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm breaking it down. So grip is in my armpit or on my chest, balancing the bike. Then I got these two hands free. I'm going to grab the noodle with my left hand, squeeze or pinch the two calipers with my right. And then there's also this little floppy lever here. My index finger is going to take care of that floppy lever. So squeezing. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and push on this one. Then I'm going to use that and get that mounted right in there. I got some other videos getting a little close up on this. And make sure that's seated properly. You might want to give it a jiggle, make sure it's pushed in there properly. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab it by the stem or handlebar, get the tire off the ground, give it a spin. That's going to make sure that I have no rub. Right now I have a slight rub in one spot. If it's in one spot, it's possibly the rim is a little bent. Maybe a brake pad's off. Maybe the brake pad's hitting the sidewall of the tire, so then you got to get some eyeballs down there, see what's going on. But for the most part, we're not getting brake drag. Now you can test your brake. Boom, I know my brake works. Now I'm ready to get on that bike and I'll be safe. But if we get this crooked, sometimes this can lean crooked. If I flop this open, now I'm gonna push the wheel to one side. I don't have a ton of space, but I'm gonna push to one side, then I'm gonna close the skewer. Now I'm gonna spin the wheel again, and the wheel just stopped really quick. So that's a lot of stuff where people are gonna experience where we just have that brake rub. We're like, what's going on? So as long as the rest of the brakes are working okay, the brake arm is fastened to the fork or frame okay, brake pad is positioned okay. If nothing else changed, all you did was just open the quick release, or if you had disc brakes, you just took the wheel off. If the wheel's slightly crooked, disc brake is gonna rub the brake. Same with this wheel. Wheel could be angled over, hitting our brake pad. So in this case, since the wheel's on, all we gotta do to straighten this wheel, hold the bike straight up and down. We're gonna flip that quick release open. You're not gonna touch the wheel at all. You're gonna let the wheel do it at once. In some cases, as soon as you flip open, you might hear or see the wheel correct itself, find its center, because basically it's an axle going across, and then it's gotta fit on these two dropouts here. So if the axle's a little crooked, as soon as you open it up, it's gonna straighten itself up. If it doesn't, we're gonna give it a tap to break it loose and to help it find its home. So if we're crooked now, we're gonna flip this open. I just saw it move slightly, probably didn't see that on camera, but also I'm gonna give it a nice good tap. Want that vibration, so if something's stuck, it's gonna break loose, find its home. Now it's even, we're gonna go ahead and close this back. All this without touching that front wheel, so lift the wheel back up off the ground. Now we're free again. Test that brake, good to go. Hope that helps.